My name is Berit Johnsen. I am a research professor at the University College of Norwegian Correctional Service, where I work on a range of different projects concerning prison and imprisonment. It's a while ago, so actually I don't remember quite, but I had some contact with Helena, I think, Helena de Vos, that were planning this project and so on. So I had a little bit contact with her for a pretty long time, and then I was asked if I could be a member of the board of RESCALED, which I accepted. I think that could be interesting to know about why I chose to engage in the RESCALED project. And that is because we have done research on both open and closed prison, on the quality of life in prison. And we did this research. We didn't know what the results would be, but when we started to analyze the results, we found that small-scale prison, and in Norway that is a prison less than 50 prisoners, prisoners there had a better quality of life in these small prisons than in the larger prisons. And my experience, when I have worked as a researcher for some years, my experience said exactly the same. So I thought it is something here. We are producing some knowledge here that I think is very valuable, where I want to have an impact and work for that people that are imprisoned have a better quality of life when they are in this kind of total institution. I think it is important to produce more knowledge. There is a lot of different kinds of knowledges. We have knowledge from our experience. We have knowledge from, we are told stories and so on. But the most powerful knowledge is the knowledge that are produced through research. And also to have this kind of powerful knowledge in the RESCALED community or the RESCALED setting, I think that is very important as well. I think it's a very important argument to refer to research that shows that small scale, there is something, it would improve a country's correctional service to have more small-scale prison, especially when it comes to the quality of prison life and the impact, what kind of impact the life in prison for prisoners can have on their reintegration in the community. So I think that it is important to have more knowledge about this issue, to have good arguments when we argue with politicians and policymakers and make them understand that there is a value of building small-scale prisons instead of the large ones. Oh, that's a good question, because as researchers, you are in your training as a researcher through your master and PhD thesis. Many people are told, or it is a kind of still, even if a lot of the research is qualitative, you have this positivistic paradigm that tells us that a researcher should be objective, have a distance, and not be influenced, not be biased in the way they do research. But from qualitative research, we know that this is almost impossible. You are biased. You have your subjective opinions with you in your research, even if you don't know about it. And you also have this action research, which is a methodological approach for how to do research where you want change to happen, where you work together with practitioners to actually make change happen. And I think that also when you look at the big funders like the EU project, or in my case, the Norwegian Research Council, most of the projects are actually, they are required to be a cooperation between researchers and practitioners where the research should have an impact on change. And I was working in a EU project for 4 years where the leader of this project said we have an obligation to make change happen. When we see that things can be improved, we are obliged to actually make change happen. So from my research that show that small-scale prison is better than large-scale prisons, I chose to engage in this concept actually to make this happen, to make countries build, or as in Norwegian case, to keep the small prisons alive, because I think that is important. I think the movement, and again, I'm referring to the Norwegian context, which I know most, but I think that there is a kind of, it goes in two directions. It's kind of polarized in a way that many things in our society actually does. Because you have the small-scale prison, but while building new prisons, you have these kind of big and large institutions. And for me, this is kind of very odd, because many services like this child service, the psychiatric service, or the health service, they have stopped building this huge total institution because they don't know that it doesn't work. But prisons or correctional system still actually build this large total institution, and that is so ancient. So I think, and over years, for 150 years, they have proven to not work. They make people's life worse. We don't have, people still continue to do crimes after they are released and so on. So I think there is a need for a change, and also that is kind of very, very important mission or vision for the rescaled community, that we want change to actually stop this kind of ancient development of the building of prisons. Oh, I hope we could be a lot of researchers engaged in this project or this community, to exchange knowledge, to work together on project, to learn about each other's system, to have an impact on change, a kind of that is international, a movement. I think that one of the strengths of the RESCALED movement is that the fact that it is international. It is an international community and a research community that have this kind of people from many countries are attractive for researchers as well. And I think that we could have a lot of good projects in this research community that will generate a lot of very good knowledge as well. But the knowledge has to be, we have to report on the knowledge that we have, that if we do this kind of research and we see that larger prisons are better, we have to report on that knowledge as well. We have to be true researchers. We cannot be biased in a kind of manipulating the results. So we need proper research, but I think that would benefit the whole movement.